Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet?
I love people as I meet them one by one. People are just wonderful as individuals. You see the whole...
My great aspiration, my greatest ambition is to be so good. Now, in that way, I'm tiresome, as I suppose, to live with, because I want to be a fantastic human being.
I am the greatest. We're not disputing that, Cassius, but how does Sonny Liston feel about it? He can't feel but one way, and let's take everything I say and like it. Because February the 25th, I'm going to take back my job. I'm the champ. He's no champ. He's a tramp.
When you see men fall, don't laugh. Learn. Learn. Because you're on your way up. And the things that tempt people to fall, you and I are not free from that temptation.
Mantra, slave song, slave ship, rip skin, made me rip bones. But no matter how close I am, my ancestors speak. They tell me they're tired of the friend on us like we're weak. I haven't been getting sleep. Longing to sing until I surpass peak. Until they think we are equal, please. All I want is peace. My ancestors beat drums until their bones would bleed. Begging the generations remember our story.
What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? Happy, joy. Shout out to Ren and Stimpy. Shit. Hey. How y'all feeling this morning? I hope well. Peace and blessings to all y'all. Big salutes. Shout outs to Rob. Shout outs to Sid. Shout outs to the whole YouTube family, Twitter, Facebook, wherever you are at. Appreciate y'all for chopping it up with your boy. Appreciate the subs. Appreciate the comments. Y'all don't know this. I have a alternate channel specifically for clips. Assembly of Excellence clips. Nothing more, nothing less. If you're on that side of the internet and you're watching this stream, this is my main. Come on over. Maybe you don't like the longer versions. If you are more preferable of the shorter versions, then you are good where you are. Nonetheless, we about to cut the fuck up. I feel good. I got some energy in me. I'm just here to talk my shit for a little bit and give my perspective and my opinion on today's subject. Shout out to my poet writers, content creators, all that good stuff. Like, share, subscribe, repost, share, let the people know that we are on. Now, what I got is not a very long video, right? You can confirm or deny whether or not this is accurate or not, but leave it in the comment section. I'm going to tell you how I feel about it, regardless. So, I want to hear y'all take. Let me real quick share this over here on the side of Twitch, because I don't really be on there that much. It's not intentional. It's just the audience is different in app per app. Like, I digress. Let me bring this up on the big screen real quick. I don't want that angle. I want to be over here. Yep. That's perfecto. Magnifico. All right, I'm gonna let this run through. I'm gonna say what I need to say, and then we'll proceed moving forward. Okay. That being said, let's jump into the video.
As a man, you get the worst version of a woman when you treat her good. The good guys get the worst version of a woman. It's always the bad guys who get the best version of a woman. She be her nicest, she be her most grateful, most giving, most freakiest. You get the best version of a woman when you dog her out. But when you treat her good, when you treat her how women say they want to be treated, you get the worst version of that woman, which more times than not just mean women are being dishonest. That's not truly how they want to be treated. Majority of them. Can't say all women because I haven't talked to, been with, dated all women, but from my experience, you get the worst version of a woman when you treat her the best.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, shall we? Yeah, time to testify. Testify. In all honesty, do I agree or disagree? Both. I agree and disagree, right? Because let me put it in perspective. Society, the internet, the radio personalities, influencers, rappers, hold on a second. We have a little technical difficulty. Let's try this again. They've all taught us to be a certain way. I sent you the link again. Matter of fact, let me go ahead. Let's try to get this situated real quick. Sydney's trying to join the stream. I sent you an email. I'm gonna post the link here in the room. If you want to try to join from here, hold on a second. Where? This is one of those situations where opinion is going to always. All right. Oh, we got it. All right. If anybody wants to join, the link is in the comment section. What's up?
Hello. I was excited about this topic this morning. I found it very intriguing.
Well, I'm glad you could make it. Glad you could make it. I was just about to start my whole rant. Did you get a chance to see the video, or do you even need to see the video? You already kind of know what this is, or do you need to?
I didn't see the video, but I can kind of imagine what he probably said. I don't know why it didn't. It was just like a black screen, and it said it was scheduled, so I don't know what was happening there. But yeah, I didn't see the video, but I can imagine the sentiments that were probably expressed, because I've heard some of it from people that I've known in person.
Yeah, so I mean, basically, he said that the dudes who really ain't worth a damn, they get the best version of women, and the good guy always gets the shittier side of it. So that's what he basically said in a nutshell.
Interesting.
I'll give you the floor to share what you want to share to start this off before I even go there. But I mean, everybody's experiences are going to be different. I think we'll be the most neutral here. So
Hmm.
yeah, the floor is yours.
It's such an interesting take because, at least from my personal experience, I've kind of found, I don't know, like my husband is a fantastic guy. Like, he, of course, everyone has their flaws, but he is incredibly kind. He's incredibly loving towards his friends, and he's incredibly loyal. That's one of the things that made me know that he was the one for me, because that, like, marriage and kids were very important to him. um he's the type of person that, like, he's in it for life, and he's told me before, like, if you cheat on me, like, if you leave me, I'm never getting married again. Like, I'm never gonna get, like, I'm not gonna be interested in all that. um his dad was very much like that, very loyal, very loving. Um, so I feel like I got extremely lucky. And I mean, to be honest, like, with how he is and everything, like, he's pretty much the whole package. Like, he deeply cares about his appearance and stuff like that. So he's very fit, and he does um, a lot of other things outside. Like, he's into D&D and like all that other stuff. So to me, he's like the complete package, and I think he's amazing. So, and just my experience with him, I don't see truth in that statement. However, I have also had prior relationships with um, duds, I would say. I've had some pretty lame boyfriends. I had one that had like depression issues, and nothing wrong with that, but his attitude towards it. Um, we did not last very long. We only lasted like 2 months, or not even that, like 6 weeks, because he would like wait outside my classroom and just be like, "How was your day? I'm not doing too good." So there's, and then I had another boyfriend that broke up with me because even though we were only 20, he wasn't ready to have kids yet. Like, okay, I'm still in college though. Like, I don't know why this matters to you right now. Um, and then I had another dud of a boyfriend that we lasted. It was the second longest relationship I had. We almost made it a full year, but dodged a bullet there because he ended up being found guilty for possessing photos of children in capacities that he should not have had the photos of them. So I definitely have had experience with the like really lame guys, and none of them really were successful in relationships to my knowledge. Like, I don't think either, at least the one in the one that was really lame and didn't want kids and whatever. I don't know whatever happened with him, but I know the other two definitely are not in relationships. However, I also know plenty of stories where it was like, he was a dreamy guy. He swept me off my feet. Like, he was so wonderful and so amazing and blah, 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 blah. And then he goes around and cheats on her as soon as they get married. He like starts running around with other people. I don't know. I feel it's very mixed because I know a lot of women who have gotten with a guy that society would see as a loser, but they're fantastic husbands, they're fantastic fathers. And then I've had friends that are a little lower on the spectrum, and they've ended up with women and they got effed over. And then I've also seen people that got extremely lucky. So I don't know. I feel like it's unfair to say it's the same across the board because every relationship is different. Every relationship falls apart for different reasons. A lot of times I've noticed there's like personality differences that they just can't get over. I mean, honestly, maybe I'm biased because it's the type of videos I watch, but just from what I've seen, it's usually women that are ending relationships. And it's usually for kind of petty reasons or stupid reasons. Like my one of my family members that I was close with her, but then she like went off the deep end and started using drugs and then like cheated on her husband with a bunch of people, even though they had two kids together, left her kid in the car just to go buy drugs and stuff like that. So she was a really good mother and before all that, but then all that happened. So yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say if that's truthful because I can definitely think of scenarios that match with what he was saying, but I can also think of a lot of scenarios that don't match up with what he's saying. So yeah, I just think it's a case by case basis, and a lot more people are getting unlucky in marriage. Like it's a 50-50 for whether or not marriages will last today. Like 50% of marriages will end in divorce. But I think a huge component is people these days don't have the same feelings towards marriage as they used to. Where we don't have that stigma anymore that like if you're not married, then like you can't have access to these resources or these groups of people or whatever. And so people are less afraid to be single now. But then also I've noticed there's kind of a divergence in what women value and what men value. And I've been noticing men returning more towards a familial trajectory, or the complete opposite path. I don't want to get married at all, and I'm just going to sleep around all the time and with any woman that I can get. Whereas women are also on a similar trajectory where it's either I'm going to get my body count up because it makes me look popular and whatever. And then the women that do want to get married and do settle down, some get lucky and some don't. So yeah, it's hard to say.
Okay. So this is what I'm going to put on it. Matter of fact, let me put a disclosure. My percentage estimate is not based on some logistics that I pulled off of the internet. This is just my own guesstimation. But I'm going to say at least 95% of the population has been groomed to like certain characteristics. And the things that you're really supposed to be looking for or identifying with is hidden behind a wall. So you got two doors and you got that guy that says, hey, come on down. You got the opportunity to win $1 million, right? And so they tell you got two doors to pick from. We don't know on what side. And they leave it completely up to you. But they're kind of they're manipulating it in a way where it's like they're trying to scare you into picking something based on your curiosity. So you go through this door because they painted this picture, and you find out the hard way that this is not really what I actually want. Now, the only reason why I say what I say is because we spend most of our childhood playing around, having fun, sleeping around, practicing, trying to be better kissers, trying to be better lovers, trying to figure out what part of our personality mixes or matches with the next person. There's a bunch of trial and error, a whole lot of it. Why is that? Because you start intermingling with people based on what you see on TV and based on what people told you that you're supposed to like, and based on it. Now, all right, how can I put this? Biological attraction is different than internal attraction. So nobody is judging you for being interested in somebody with a certain complexion, height, etc., etc. That's just biologically built in you. The other stuff, however, is manufactured. So a lot of the things that women are tending to lean towards is superficial. It's not lasting very long. Now, in Sydney, in your case, you are a unicorn, right? Because you had a different experience growing up. So the way that you view men and women are completely different than everybody. So you can identify the characteristics in the person and the external, and you can have an appreciation for both without devaluing one over the other. The way the system is set up, you can't even get to the internal parts of a person because you've already disqualified them for the external stuff. So with his argument, I see what he's saying, but I also think that what we're not adding in addition is that why is that the problem? Why is it so prominent? Why is this a big topic the way it is? And it's sad and it's very unfortunate because you miss out on a lot, allowing other people to control and dictate the way that you're supposed to perceive humans or just the nature of humans. It took me years to accept the fact that there's just some people who you can't change. There's some people that are always going to feel like they're right. There's just going to be some people who are just not for me. There's going to be people that will never agree with me or vice versa. And you got to go with the flow. Some folks are there to teach you. Actually, in general, all of it is a lesson. But I'm gonna stop here. Do you believe that these problems could be minimized if people weren't so reliant on social media to teach them?
Absolutely. What you said brought up was a fantastic point about parents raising their kids to be that way, because I have heard countless videos of parents coaching their children about how to make sure that they're dressing for men and stuff like that. And these kids were like 5, 6, 7. It's definitely something that's socialized into us, but it's also, as you said, very heavily linked to social media as well, because when social media gets involved, there's kind of a social currency where you're expected to have a certain body, a certain behavior, and you're now also going to be competing with celebrities who are who can afford the fancy treatments and can make themselves ultra skinny and ultra, I don't think it's pretty, but the plastic surgery to get the gorgeous face and the giant cheeks, chipmunk cheeks. But they've kind of trained women to think that, like, I don't know, it's like the Taylor Swift mentality where, like, you're going to have that white horse Prince Charming that's going to ride in, and he's going to be the perfect 10 and the football player and the super smart whatever, like women, like, case in point, that ick list, the women that have like 500 things that they don't like in a man, and like they want a hot body, nice, smart. I'm like, really? That's it? That, like, oh, but if they have pimples, oh, if they swear, oh, if they wear the wrong shoes. I'm like, you're definitely right. My parents raised me very differently. Both of my parents were together 26 years. I think they got married in 86, I think, after dating for a couple years. Their coworkers didn't even know that they were dating until like months in. And one of their closest friends was like, how did you not know? They're literally pulling their lunch out of the same box. But they're very doting to each other, very dedicated to each other. And they, like, basically up until my dad's death, they were together. And this was both of their first marriages. My mom waited until she was in her like 30s to even pursue, like, really, like, she dated and stuff, but it wasn't until she was in her like 30s, 40s that she was like, all right, I'll be okay with getting married. But that was always her priority, is herself first. And if she found somebody that went along with how she lived her life, that's who she wanted to be with. And so I was raised that you make yourself better for you. You do what you want to do. You pursue your dreams. And if you happen to find somebody that aligns with your values, that's the person that you should pursue. And I think part of it also, I've always been very, like, not intimacy averse, but at the beginning I was very shy, very nervous. So I didn't even start pursuing physical activity until I was 19. And so my body count is significantly lower than most people, I would say. But that was all because that was ingrained into me, that type of stuff is not important. How you look is not important. Like, my mom, I don't know how much I've talked about her, but she's a 6th-degree black belt in martial arts. She's so skilled that she had to fight in the men's lightweight division because she would beat every other woman that she would fight against. And she probably could beat up my dad if she wanted to. And he was the quiet, he was funny, and he just liked nature and hiking and reading. And he was like, he could read an 800-page book in a night. Like, he was incredibly intelligent. But they came together because of their interests, because of their intellectual paths, and not because my mom saw him, was like, oh my God, look how hot he is. He's so amazing. Even though, like, he was an attractive person. Like, she wasn't basing her choice to marry him off of that. So it was, you're definitely right. I was very much trained not to be that way. And I know on McKinley's side as well, my husband, he also had the same thing, where his mother would, like, she had failed relationships and failed marriages, some of which were amicable, one of which was because of circumstances outside of her control. And because of that, she trained them to be very careful. And especially because like, my husband's black, and he's a man, so he probably was going to deal with all sorts of, as she calls them, trifling women. uh, he was very much trained to look out for certain signs. Like if she seems to be after your money, if she seems to be getting around, if she seems to be the type that just like, hey, cleavage, whole world, look at me. Those were not his type. And so he also was very much conditioned to not accept that type of behavior from his partner. So I think parental conditioning, parental teaching is a absolutely gigantic part of the component. How the child sees their parents interacting, how the child is taught by their parents, their relationship with their father, all of these, and also the types of friends that they're exposed to. All of these things are factors in their future success. And I think social media just adds a way more complicating factor to it, because now, as I said yesterday on the video, like people aren't just idolizing their peers, they're idolizing anyone and everyone. So your bar is now up there with celebrities and people that can afford those like really expensive things and have mansions and whatever. And so because that's proliferating on the internet right now, people assume that's the standard, that you have to be a millionaire, you have to have multiple houses and a boat and a fast car and muscles and all this other stuff, even though, as you said, it's completely superficial and has nothing to do with your relationship with that person. And so people are no longer getting together because like, oh yeah, we both love to do hiking together. We both love to do like go out and go on walks and we like the same books and stuff. It's like, I saw them and they were hot, and he saw me and I was hot. And if you base your relationship off that, as soon as you have kids and have a little bit of fat, or as soon as you grow older and start to get wrinkled and gray hair, then, oh, you're not hot anymore, goodbye. And so I think that's a huge part of the problem, is we are basing our opinions of people off of how we see them. Like the video that sticks in my mind right now, I watched this yesterday. It was just cringy people that are like subject to what it was called, main character syndrome, where they think like the whole world revolves around them and they're so special, filming themselves in public, thinking that everyone loves them and cares about what they're doing. So she is in a Starbucks or coffee shop of some sort, and she has the name on her coffee called out as single and available. And so she's walking around the coffee shop saying, hear me, I'm single and available. And she's like literally staring at this one particular guy in the shop. I'm single and available, like showing the cup. And I'm like, oh my God. Like sometimes these people think that they're just entitled to, I want him, so I deserve him. And it doesn't matter how I act. It doesn't matter how unhinged I am. He needs to accept me for my worst. But they show none of their positive qualities because it's almost like a test. Like, you need to see me at my absolute worst and you have to stay with me. And then I'll love you and accept you for your worst, even though they usually don't. And they still demand that you have to work and you have to have the fancy car and you also have to work out and be sexy. And then you also have to blah, 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 blah. So there are a lot of women out there that expect the best relationship on the planet. They expect this dream man who's going to do everything for them and wait on them hand and foot and whatever. But then they're not willing to do any work on themselves at all. Like I was talking to my mother-in-law about this yesterday, the 7-year itch. Every 7 years, human cells recycle each other. So after 7 years, basically the body you're living in is brand new. And I strongly believe that's linked to that 7-year itch because you're in a new body, your cells are going to be based off of all of the things that you did and embodied in those prior 7 years. And so if you and your partner are on the same path and working towards common goals and are kind of working towards being better people together, but in the 7 years, you won't really have, like, once you're a new person again, you won't have that deviation and that feeling that you're so different and you're not on the same playing field anymore. Whereas people that allow themselves to like grow apart, that like the woman gets bitter of the guy, or the guy is too busy for the woman or whatever, if they're deviating enough, by the end of those 7 years, they are now different people on different trajectories. And so unless they are willing to do the work to bring themselves back together, they are going to feel more and more separated. And if they don't divert their paths, they're going to keep going off in different directions and eventually have a breakup. That's just my theory. Obviously, that's not like from any scientific papers or anything, but I feel like that could be the case, because I've noticed that a lot of marriages end in like 5 to 7 years. The average end, I think, is like 5 years or something like that. So I do wonder if that's a factor. Like, people just are deviating so much from each other that by the end, they're just so far apart that they can't bring themselves back together. But that's one thing that I attribute to my success with my husband, because I've had my problems. He's had his problems. Like, we've had to learn each other. We've had to grow past certain toxic traits that both of us had embodied and had gotten from various relationships and whatnot, and from social media. And the thing that has helped us the most, besides the fact that like we're dedicated to each other and we've committed to each other to be loyal, we also have a willingness to acknowledge our flaws and work towards being a better person for the other person, for the sake of that other person. Like, I've made an effort to be the best wife that I can. He's made an effort to be the best father he can, or husband he can. And we often revisit, like, how can we make things better for each other? So I think that's another important factor, is that there's so many people now that are extremely selfish. They want the other person to just bow to them. And I see this even within like friend groups and work and all spheres, where they just expect everyone else to treat them like a main character, to do exactly like, you should know what I want, you should know who I am. And they're very uncompromising. So I think that's another huge problem, is that people are so self-centered now that they're more willing to ditch the relationship than do the hard work and actually adjust. And I think if people were more willing to understand that everyone has their flaws and that everyone is worth effort, and you shouldn't just quit when it's hard, which is another really pervasive thing in general. Like, we're super, super impatient as a culture. And if something isn't fantastic right now, they're just gonna be like, okay, I'm done. We do the same thing with stuff. We're like, oh, we got this pair of pants. It's super popular right now. Oh, they're not popular anymore. Next pair of pants, next purse, next shoes, whatever. Like, we are so flighty with things that we have no commitment anymore. We leave jobs just because it gets a little bit difficult, or we have a coworker we don't like. Like, I've heard so many stories of like, they said this to me, I didn't like it, so I quit. What? So I think that's two factors that really are affecting it, is like our self-centeredness and our lack of commitment to things, our inability to do the hard work in favor of a positive result, because they just think like, oh, well, it's too hard, so it's not worth it.
Yeah, here's a harsh truth. If you even remove dating and relationships out of the equation just for a second, the world rewards bad doings. And shout out to Jason, man, because he said this before too. We reward negative actions. We actually uphold it to a degree of grace that we wouldn't do somebody who got a degree at the age of 14 years old for excelling further than his peers, or someone that is 10, 15 years his senior or her senior. You see way more destructive activity highlighted over good. So it's like remove me from this. Damn, so I'm doing all this shit for nothing. You telling me I done went to school, I done been a good guy, I held the door open, and I got flowers, and I wrote love letters, and I did all of this shit, and you telling me I still don't trigger the algorithm, I still don't fit in with the rest of the population? You telling me I'm still going to get ignored? I'm still going to miss the opportunity, even though I went by the book. I did everything that you said I was supposed to do in order to get the fairy tale ending. And you're telling me I got to work 10 times harder than the person who has been sentenced 10, 15 years on house arrest. Help me understand that. And so, like, you got a group of men who watch. They're watching from the outside. They're either the friend zone guy, or they're just the guy who doesn't have access to women in general. They're average, normal people. But even with them doing everything in indecent order, nothing seems to work out for them. What do you say to people like that? Because what you're telling me, social media, is that all of the evil that we're looking at is normal, and all of the good that I'm looking at is wrong. That is toxic. That is boring. How dare you be boring? How dare you be a regular person? Like that. That's how it come off. And then you get people pissed off and they're frustrated because, like, damn, man, I want to stay. I want to be a good person. I don't like. I know right from wrong. I know right from wrong. I know what they're doing is wrong, but you keep making this shit look like it's right. From the commercials, from the cars, from every single Chris Brown video where these women will completely embarrass themselves on stage.
Keeping up with the Kardashians.
She's keeping up with herself at this point. It's like it's a win, lose, lose, lose. What do you want from us? What do you want from normal guys that you're trying to demonize and have them looking like they ain't worth nothing? They have no values. How do they then say, well, shit, all you keep on supporting is this, that, and the third? We don't have no women advocating for us in general. Like there's this echo chamber of women who say this exact same thing. He's boring, so I left him. He wasn't exciting enough. He didn't switch it up. I didn't like the routine. What? And then you have a group of men who are trying to advocate for these guys, but nobody cares. Or you're trying to say it ain't my fault we ain't attracted to them. It ain't my fault we don't like them. It ain't my fault they're boring. So then guess what happens? Nobody wants to advocate for them. Nobody wants to put them in a like y'all try to make it seem like there's a larger population of weirdos. That's why you don't want them. But you know damn well you don't, my nigga, you probably sucked in math. I'm just gonna say it. You sucked in math. You probably got an F, my nigga. You probably stayed back in summer school. Y'all sitting up here trying to go off of feelings and all that. You know damn well the entire world is not fucked up. We got bad out here. There's a lot of bad out here. But I can pull up videos of men saving women. I mean, what are we talking about? So I don't know. You are like, imagine there's 1,000 of you and your husband online talking about what they see and what they value, and we would probably have a better outcome with some of these discussions, because now what you have is there's a offset to all of the, oh, we're just going to throw cheating and infidelity, and we're going to throw pregnancies and fire baby twin. We're going to keep throwing all that out there. You got something to balance that off. Now it's like, all right, well, we have a shot maybe, but we don't seem to really get that a lot. So you think everything is just one way when it's not like that. It's just really hard to come across. So when a lot of these dudes used to be good dudes and they start being, you know, who do you blame for that? They're trying to acclimate to the environment and what you seem to want to be around. How do you tell them, no, don't change who you are when you've never been? How can you tell them not to be assholes when all you promote is being an asshole? I yield the mic.
Toxicity breeds toxicity. If you are around toxicity, you are more likely to become toxic yourself, because it's a mechanism that you're either going to leave the situation or you're going to adapt to the situation. And if you are with somebody who is toxic, you're very, very much more likely to become toxic. Either that, or you become submissive and fall victim to the toxicity and just become like a quiet sufferer of it. But everything that you're saying, 1,000%, we glorify negativity. I mean, we've probably seen it. Like, the things that get the most attention on social media are people wilding out, like people going crazy, getting in street fights, women like screaming obscenities at somebody in public. Like, we love that stuff. We eat it up. And I bet you across the board, if you ask anybody, who do you idolize? Not one person, or like maybe one or two people, are going to say something like JFK, MLK, Benjamin Franklin. Like, nobody's going to say that shit. They're all going to say, like, again, the Kardashians, Taylor Swift, Bad Bunny. Like, I don't even know. Like, people are going to say celebrities. They're not going to say people that have actually contributed anything to real life. Like, as you're saying, people don't know anybody of value, to be honest. Like, these celebrities are not valuable people, in my opinion. They're just there to deceive us into buying shit. But they're like, for, as you said, there was a girl who recently, she's 12. She was 12 and she just got her medical degree. She just became a doctor at 12. And I bet you majority of the people on this planet have no idea who she is and would never even think it was possible to do something like that. And I think that's a huge component of the problem is, again, who we idolize, who we see as valuable. The most clear example I have of that is the balloon game, where the person steps into the room and immediately pop, 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 pop. Like, and usually that's women. Like, the man walks in, oh, no. Nope, pop all the balloons. But I find it hilarious how now I've noticed when women walk on, the men wait, and then as soon as she starts talking, then they all pop the balloons and like go in on her, and they're like, yeah, you're kind of selfish, you're pretty, but I don't like your attitude. I don't think I because of the way you're dressed, I wouldn't trust you. And they always have these like I'm perfect. What are you talking about? How could you say that to me? Like, I dress the way I side with those men in those cases. Like, I mean, obviously there are men that act like dogs. There are men that don't treat women fairly and stuff like that. But women don't give them enough credit. And there are so many women out there that just think like, if they're not attractive, they're not worth anything. And I'm like, the sad thing is, the more you focus on your appearance, the more likely you are to have personality flaws, because you're compensating. If you have a deep insecurity and you feel that you need to change your appearance to change those things, you're missing something, because your insecurity can be fixed with mental work. Your insecurities can be fixed by working on your skills, by getting better friends, by, as I said, like doing work on yourself internally, emotionally, mentally, physically, because everything affects how we feel, how we eat, as I said, who we hang out with, the types of hobbies that we have, the way we dress. And you don't have to dress in like, my boobs are out, I'm wearing, like, I just saw this one girl who's like, is this appropriate for a work party? And it was literally just like sparkly underwear over tights with a really fit shirt. And people in the comments were like, you wore that to work? I hope you got fired. And it's this type of mentality where they just think that they have to be a trophy, and that men have to like see her and be like, come to me. Oh my God, I love you so much. I'll do anything for you. I'll love you forever. I'll support you. I'll buy you whatever house you want, whatever puppy you want. I'll do be real. Like, this is not how humans operate. And sure, at the beginning, the man might be like, hey, I'm going to get you flowers. I'll get you jewelry. I'll whatever. But once you get past that lovey-dovey stage, that stuff doesn't sustain the relationship. The stuff that sustains that relationship is, can you do things together? Can you trust each other? If you got in a car accident in the middle of the night, 2 hours away, would he drive to pick you up and help you? Like, would he be there for you if you suddenly developed cancer and lost all your hair? Or if you had a baby and then had like something happen with your body? Like, there's so many different, and also like, is he willing to be there for you and your kid if you do have a kid together? And they don't consider this stuff anymore. They just consider like, what can he give me? But it's not the type of what can he give me of value. It's what can he look like for me, and what can he act like for me. And that, again, is not sustainable whatsoever, because as soon as you have any sort of difficulty, that stuff fades. It doesn't matter how the person looks when you're going through foreclosure and are homeless together. It doesn't matter how good you look if you lose your job and can't support. If he only wants you for how you look, as soon as you don't have any value to him, he's just going to find somebody else who looks better. And vice versa. If she doesn't believe that he's good enough for her, she's just going to pick the next one. I've seen, I used to watch a lot of videos of people who like left relationships and regretted it. And one that really stuck out to me was this woman. She was with her husband. I think they were together like 6 or 7 years. And then she decided, like, I don't want to be here anymore. I feel like I'm being repressed and blah, 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 blah. I want to travel the world. So she left him and traveled around the country or the world or whatever. Like, she went on this really expensive trip and whatever. And after a year, she was basically like, oh my God, what did I do? I blew up my life. I don't have any money. I have to move back in with my parents. I don't know what to do. And I tried to go back to him, but he's already married with another kid, happily married with another kid. And he's just like, bye, goodbye. And she's just like, I don't understand why he'd do that to me. I'm like, ma'am, you told him he wasn't good enough. He wasn't making you happy enough, that you would rather travel the world alone than, and also sleep around while at it, drinking and all that stuff. And then you expected him to wait there for you and be like, oh my God, you're back. I can't believe you. Like, no. Humans aren't going to do that. If you break their heart, they're not going to like wait for you to come back so they can pick up the pieces and put it back together. Like, that's so dumb. And there's so many women with that. I mean, people with that mentality where they just think, like, again, main character syndrome, that person owes them everything and that they should be groveling and begging and bowing down to them and honoring them and blah, 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 blah. When you're not even honoring and respecting yourself. Like, what makes you think that they are going to respect you when you're not showing yourself respect? Like, I don't care what people say. Showing off and wearing raunchy clothing is not respecting yourself. When you are making yourself a visual spectacle, you are not respecting yourself because you're basically making yourself a commodity. Because what are things we buy? Like, why do we buy the things that we buy? Because it looks nice. Why do you buy that house? Because it looks nice. Why do you buy the purse? Because it looks cool. Why do you buy that outfit? Because it looks good on you. You don't buy it because the clothes are going to help you do the laundry, or because the house is going to, I mean, maybe hopefully the house will be there for you forever, but like the house isn't going to like console you and be your friend if you're alone. And if you're treating yourself like a commodity, like a bag, like a house that is only based on how it looks, of course people aren't going to respect it because they're going to see you as useless other than for how you look. And a lot of women are doing this to themselves. And a lot of women are teaching this to their kids, that their value is in how you look. It's how you dress. It's what you do to your body, and that you need to have funky cheeks and a skinny anorexic body and the stuff that they're doing for their bodies isn't even healthy for their bodies. Like, when women say like, oh, I work on myself, they're not working on themselves. Like, I eat healthy, I eat vegetables and meat and fruit and stuff, and I cut out the carbs and whatever. Like, they're not doing it because, oh, I'm trying to keep myself healthy, make sure my heart is healthy, make sure my lungs are healthy. They're doing it because they like to show up to the gym and show everyone what they're doing, and they're not even like actually working on themselves. They're doing like shitty little push-ups and stuff like that, and they think that's helping themselves. Or they eat salads because it's aesthetic to eat salads with the face mask on in a hotel room. Or they're drinking excessively. Like, that does not make you a valuable person. That makes you irritating. Like, nobody wants you to be aesthetic 24/7 all the time. Like, I can't even imagine how obnoxious it is to, I don't even go out to eat with my husband that often, partially because we have kids, but partially because we don't care about that. We'd rather DoorDash it and sit in our house and watch our own TV. But like, all these women that are like, pretend this is a camera, like sitting, eating, their husband's across from them, like, hey guys, I'm at this restaurant, I'm eating this food. Like, I had a friend that did that. We're not friends anymore. I went to the aquarium with her, and like, she had kids, I had my kids, and we were walking around and looking at the aquarium. I was like, hey kids, look at this. Like there's these animals and this, and teaching them stuff about them. And meanwhile, she's like posing, look where we are. Do you want to pose with me? I'm like, I don't care. I really don't want to be in these photos. Like the only pictures I have are my like aesthetic pictures of my kid looking into the aquarium, but that's it. And it's for me and my their grandparents. Like I send it to my parents. I don't post that. I early on, when I had my son, I had an Instagram and I did post pictures of him as he was a baby, but that was so I could show my friends. I wasn't like making it public and being like, hey everyone, love my baby, like turn him into a celebrity. And once he started to become recognizable, I deleted my Instagram. I removed him off Instagram and I was no longer comfortable having him on Instagram because one, I don't want the internet to have possession of identifying details of my child. And two, I didn't need that. Like it was around that time that I was realizing that I was getting dependent on social media to make myself feel good. And I stopped using Instagram for a very long time. And then I ended up deleting it altogether. And it's that type of mentality where people are more focused on being famous and being hoping to be the next viral video, viral picture, viral whatever, that they care more about taking pictures and recording the experience than actually experiencing the experience. Like I've seen endless videos of people at concerts who are filming themselves lip syncing the concert instead of actually watching the concert. I'm like, the point of going to these things is so you can enjoy it, not so you can show other people how amazing you are for being there. And this whole mentality not only ruins people's like work and self-esteem, but it also leaks into their relationships because they're putting themselves first. And that is not how relationships work. Obviously, you shouldn't like completely give yourself away to that person and do everything that they want, but there needs to be a balance. Like you need to respect them as much as you respect yourself, and they should respect you as much as they respect themselves. And a lot of people do not do that, and it's very, very sad. This is definitely something kids need to be taught now, because we're having a whole set of generations, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, growing up under this myth that as long as you're pretty, you'll be successful because you just need to catch the right person's eye and then you'll be set for life. That is not how life works. And that is why so many people now are struggling to get by, because they were taught that their only value is what they can do for other people, not what they can contribute to society. So it's definitely something that is a multi-pronged thing. A lot of people need therapy. A lot of people need to recognize their toxic traits. A lot of people need to stop drinking. A lot of people need to get better clothes and actually wear clothes in public instead of this disgusting bubble skirts or like literal just underwear pants in public. Like, have more self-respect. Come on.
The look at me imitation was funny as hell. The older I got, right, the more I realized the things that I thought was for me, I realized they weren't. They were actually detriments. Like, okay, you look good and all that, but can I be in a house with you for 24 hours? If I go to work for 8 and come home, am I going to be like, fuck, I gotta go back in here? Or am I going to be excited to see you? Are you ready to be in a position where it's going to end up being sometimes 80-20, 20-80? Are you there? Are you is your mind there? Because let's face it, everybody can fall on their face just like that. So the second that he ain't on top anymore, do you have the mentality to still be there when you got to go a year or longer where he can't perform the way he used to, or vice versa? I want to address the men just so there's no confusion. They get the same smoke as the women do, because the traits that you think, I put it this way, it's successful. You can be a dickhead. You can have that Antonio Banderas attitude. You can do all that. Sure, you'll get the sex and all that stuff. Yeah, you'll have side chicks, but guess what? At least one of them women will kill you or kill her for that position, or lie on you and get you put behind bars, or paternity fraud, or you could lose everything. Like, there's always a consequence behind these things that we chase after, because there's no order. Everything about what you find attractive doesn't seem to make sense. Notice how it's like it's just something. I like danger. I like that rush. And then he provides you that rush, but you constantly checking to see if he cheating. What type of life is it? Being on your tippy toes all the time, wondering when the next one is going to step up and do what you're not doing. Because guess what? As messed up as it is, he's going to explore his options as long as you allow it. Because to you, those just like men have made a lot of these women the way they are, a lot of these women made men the way that they are. So if they out here sleeping with multiple people, it's because you allow it. And it's not necessarily saying that we can control the other person, but you can say, look, it's either going to be just me or nothing else. Because, like, if I put myself in the position of the asshole, this is how I translate your attitude. Oh, you just walk past a dude who wasn't going to do what I'm about to do to you, because I don't give a fuck about you. I'm used to you. I see tens and hundreds of you on social media all the time. I see dozens of you in real life. They act like you. They talk just like you. All of y'all do the same thing. You gravitate towards a specific type of person, and you allow them a level of access to you that person won't. Yeah, I'm not going to respect you. I'm gonna treat you accordingly to how you treat yourself, and how you respect yourself, and how you value men. I already know you got a roster, because you don't like good dudes. You don't respect them. So I'm not going to respect you. And that's how a lot of dudes think. I ain't saying this is a good habit, because they could, like these dudes that y'all really be so into, they could be responsible and say, look, I'm gonna fuck your life up. I am. Because I already know that you're damaged. Something is broken in you. And I am a partaker of the broken. I enjoy it. That's the easiest sex that a person like me can get from someone who is broken. I'm going to ruin your life. I'm not you because here's the thing. When it's where if you're attracted to a person, they get away with more than anybody else. So yeah, they could be responsible and say, nah, this ain't what you want, man. But why would they? It's an all you can eat buffet. And it's only until you realize that what you're doing is not doing anything other than hurting yourself, and vice versa, that we can get somewhere. Them dudes like him, jail, death, diseases. Where do you think all these STDs come from? Like all these scandals. Because people think with the wrong head. Them dudes that y'all be celebrating, you think they happy? These folks got 10, 15, 20 kids out here. It's not a joke. Ain't nothing to celebrate. All in all, my ultimate message is this shit is stupid. Stop looking at people for the wrong things. Or not. You can do whatever the hell you want. But if you've been around this earth as much as I have, you already see what happens to people who practice hypergamy the wrong way. And you see what happens when people play these games of, I'm going to get you before you get me, or I'm just going to be out here doing whatever. Go ahead. Keep doing it. But I do believe it's fucked up that y'all really truly believe that one has to be into the other more than it's supposed to be equal. The shit's supposed to be like balanced. Final thoughts. Anything you want to add to that?
I have a short poem that I thought would fit perfect with this one. I wrote this for or about my relationship with my husband. And I think it really embodies what people need to keep in mind with relationships, because as I said, it needs to be a back and forth. Like, people need to be willing to work together on each other in a way that's like fair and honest. Like, you have to be actually yourself for the person. Like, you have to stop putting on a show. Like, the relationships aren't working because we're not even being our true selves with the people that we're with. We kind of, as I said, put on a facade and act like we're this gorgeous, beautiful human being when inside you're kind of festering with all these toxicities. So I wrote this to kind of exemplify how we've been able to help each other. It's called Consistency. Like the rasp curling your tired toes, back and forth we flow, refining each other's pathways, nudging each other to shear the past from stifled cells. Our hands follow each other, chasing our own calloused edges to find where they can fit together. Like the rasp, the gentle grit collected in these pores from those I thought I loved or lost meets yours. Steady, surely, we polish ourselves, creating crystal futures for us and the images of soul. But that's all to say that we have to remember that none of us are perfect. Nobody is ever going to come out of the womb this like ideal, amazing person. Everyone is going to have issues throughout our lives that are going to cause us to be selfish in some ways, or aggressive in some ways, or mean in some circumstances. Like, we're never going to be perfect. But to have a successful relationship with your friends, with your family members, with a partner, even with your workplace, you have to accept that nobody's going to be perfect all of the time, and that you can't just dip anytime somebody shows themselves to not be perfect. That is incredibly cruel to expect of somebody, to think that they owe you being perfect all the time, 24/7, and that they need to be what you want them to be all the time. And I think a lot of people have that mindset right now, where they expect that everyone has to act the way that you want them to act, and everyone has to be the way that you want them to be. And a lot of people get in the relationship thinking that the person is not going to be a partner, but a project, that they are there to refine, to be that person's Play-Doh. Like, I am here to mold you into the perfect figure that I want. And that is not how a relationship is sustained, because eventually someone is going to have resentment, if not both of them. Because if your whole goal is to make somebody how you want, either you are going to be unhappy because it's not going to happen the way that you want, or the person that you're trying to change will become resentful of you for not accepting them as they are, or trying to force them into a mold that they are not. People that succumb to that and change themselves for another partner will eventually get to the point where they hit their breaking point and realize they're no longer living the life in their own identity. They're living their life in that other person's identity, for what they wanted. So we have to remember that for ourselves and for our partners or potential partners, that you cannot expect them to be the dream. What you have to expect is that they're the best human being for you, that they put their best foot forward for you, and they make a conscious effort to improve themselves when they aren't the best person for you. And anybody that is willing to do the tough work for you, the hard work of modifying behavior, adjusting their schedule to accommodate you, and are like making sure that their friends respect you, making sure that their family respects you. These are people that are worth being with, not the people that are willing to go to the gym and pump up their arms, or go to the doctor to make their lips and cheeks bigger than a chipmunk's. Like, we have to seek out people that are willing to do the hard work for us, not the easy work. And stop basing it off of appearance, because again, appearance does not last. By the time you're 40, that's going downhill. Not a single person on this planet is going to become a 90-year-old with perfect skin and plump lips and gorgeous hair. Like, we all fall apart. Whether you're a hamster, a human being, or a whale, you eventually will turn into a sad looking form, because that's what aging does. We're not meant to last forever. And if we were, God help us. But yeah, focus on the things that matter to you and find the person that aligns with that. And stop thinking that the only thing that matters is your appearance, is your number of viewers, is your followers, is what potential fame you could have, because that stuff does not last. That stuff does not sustain happiness. And if you base yourself on things that fluctuate and change, you are destined to not be happy through large portions of your life, because you will be dependent on always having those things. Like, a simple analogy, imagine if you felt that you only could be happy when you were eating cookies. Like, and then that was, if you
one, you're basically choosing between being healthy or being happy. And that is not a life anyone should be willing to live. Like, you should not be sacrificing your health for your happiness, because eventually when your health declines, you won't be happy anymore. And you will wish that you actually worked on yourself, worked on your actual health, worked on your mental health to make yourself better. So make sure that you find somebody who's willing to uphold you and respect you for who you are inside, not outside.
Real tip, real talk, real talk, real talk. Shout outs. Fashion by Jamaican girl. Sydney is always eloquently said. I hope y'all got something out of this morning's show. Beautiful poem, per usual. We will see you guys later on. The QR code at the top of the screen is Sydney's Blue Sky. So if you want to link up with her, you already know what to do. You ain't got to type in nothing no more. You can just take your device and scan, and you voila.
Also, shameless plug, I just signed myself up to be a tutor. So if anyone ever wants help with like English, reading comprehension, writing, need help editing something, you can also find me. I have it posted on my Blue Sky. I absolutely love to teach. As you know, I am a writer. So if anybody needs a tutor, I would love to help you guys.
That's what's up. That's what we do over here on this side, man. It's about helping, man. That's dope. That's dope. Well, I will see you later. To the rest of y'all, I hope to hang out with y'all later on. If not, enjoy the rest of your day.
Have a good morning, guys, or night, depending on where you are.
Mantra, slave song, slave ship, rip skin, made me rip bones. But no matter how close I, my ancestors speak, they tell me the tide doesn't run on us like we're weak. I haven't been getting sleep, longing to sing until I surpass peak, until they think we are equal. Please, all I want is peace. My ancestors beat drums until they're